So you got a shorter side and a longer one.
Yeah, we're tying off at the handle here. So this knot that I'm doing is deemed to be 70% the strength of the wire, which isn't too bad. It doesn't slip, and you can use it on short strains, and it comes up pretty neat.
That's how fast it is when you can do it well.
Well, it's quicker than putting in a crump or anything, you know.
Yeah.
And my wire strainers are rusty because nobody seems to be able to build good wire strainers these days that don't slip.
So yeah, show it again. Slower.
Slower?
Yeah. So that okay.
What you?
Yeah, around the first, and then a loop, and around the second. Bim.
Each of these wires is tension to around 150 kgs, and I'm pretty confident that this particular fence will stay that tight for the next 30 years because we've used 2.7 metre strainers, all driven, all the foots are driven.
Yep.
And
so here we're just at a corner. It's going from...
this is about halfway down the line.
Yeah. Halfway. About. From up there, somewhere.
Industry standard.
Yep.
Is for these lines to actually be tied off on the strainer so that there's no knots in the line, except for joining knots of wire where your coil runs out. But that's good, and I do tie off a lot of fences in that manner, but this works really well on a long strain, so you need to get even tension from both ends. And like I say, the knot is pretty strong, and it doesn't slip. See this? No sharp edges on it or nothing like that.
Yep.
And it'll be fine. It'll stay here for years.
Then you gotta put some buttons on everywhere.
Three for every panel.
Yeah.
So this is a 9-wire fence, and it's a pretty standard fence for New Zealand conditions. I really like it because by the time you put 3 battens on this fence, there ain't nothing going to put its head through it and hassle it, and it's tight like a guitar, you know, and they ain't going to get through this ever. And then that means that I can finish this job and walk away, and she'll be as good as you like, you know.
Yep. Those were the 5 first and the last 4 in here.
Yep. I set the strainers so that all the knots fall in a row, as good as you can get. But the reason for that is when we come to batten this fence, there's going to be a batten here and another one here, so all of those knots are going to fall down in the middle. And it's not hard to change the strainer to do that.
Oh yeah? But you gotta think in advance where you put your nuts,
Yeah,
because of the buttons.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just trimming off here what I need to work with. The rest is just surplus. So this is about how much wire we've pulled out of the strainer fence.
Yeah.
So if you have a look along here, we've built around 200 meters here.
Between the
Yeah.
two strainers, both ends.
Nothing like, this is the last of about 1.2 kilometers that we've built in this particular job. So it's a relatively short strain. And the rest of them are around between 300 and 400 meters, which some people would consider quite long for one strain, but I'm a real fan of having a long strain because it takes advantage of the elasticity of this wire. It's just like a piece of elastic, really. I mean, we're dealing with high tensile wire.
Yep.
2.5 mil, and a little short piece like this feels very hard, but over a great distance it becomes very elastic. And you've got to take advantage of that so that if you do have something move in your fence line, for example, if a foot comes up, that wire's not going to lose much tension. But of course, you try to set it up so you can't do that. We've had trials on this job. There's been a lot of angle posts to put in, which is like this one here. And 3 of them we had to blast. And those 3 took a day's work each. By the time we blew a hole into solid papa and then blew out a big crater and then got down 1.2 meters deep, stick the post in foot, and then you got to find all the rocks, get them back in the hole, and by that time you may as well pack your gear up and call it a day.
Yeah,
right?
all those corners and strainers, they're deeper in the ground than over the ground, longer under.
This one here is the same length in the ground as it is out.
Yeah.
But all the ones at the end of the line are, how far are they in the ground? 1,500. Is that right? 1,300.
Shouldn't move with this, huh?
You hope
Normally.
not, but some of this pussy ground around here is letting us down a bit. We've got to make sure that we put foots on them, and we're lucky that we're doing this job in the winter time, well, you know, wet season anyway, so that it makes us think really hard about putting foots on that aren't going to move.
Yeah.
Because you can get fooled in the summertime by coming around and thinking, oh, it's nice and dry here. We can just put a little foot on and away we go. But come winter time and this ground gets really wet and you've got a tight fence, it'll move, which is a bit unfortunate, but
Yeah, we just saw before we had to put a huge foot and replace.
that's right.
Yeah.
And that's where you get trapped. Trapped for young players. I've had many years of doing this, and I can proudly say that everything I've learnt the hard way. Because when something fails, and believe me, I've had a few things fail, you go and have a look at that and ask the question why, and you do what, you know, you learn from it. Next time you think, right, I ain't going to let that happen. So, you know, I'm still trying to build the perfect fence.
Have you done it yet?
I'm working on it, eh? I'm too fussy for that. I spend too much time picking holes in my own work. And wire strainers can be a dog to deal with, and I've found for years that if you just put them on a little safety pin like that, you've got them all, and then you can drop them on the ground or do whatever and carry them over your shoulder, and you've got them. See, you can drop them on the ground here, and you pick them all up by grabbing that and not losing them. Good, because I wanted this one at the front anyway. Easy to deal with.
Yeah, whole bunch.
Whole bunch.
That can be pretty heavy to carry
I used
uphill.
to have 20 of these, but yeah, 10 together as a load. I used to have 20, but useless buggers that I've had working for me over the years have lost them.
Is it expensive, a strainer like this?
Oh, I think they're over $100, $130 or something each now.
Yeah.
And what annoys me is, there's two main companies who make wire machines in this country, and they still haven't got them perfect.
Well, they're working on it.
So these are all my scraps that I've just made.
Yeah, take back all the shit.
Yeah. Still got either end to clean up, but hey,
Yeah,
that's all good.
part of the job.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, good. So just buttoning for this one and it's done.
Well, this fence is stock proof now, but battens will just trip it off nicely,